Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Today we will start with infrared spectroscopy part 3, in which we will discuss how to put samples in an infrared spectroscopy, what type of samples can be used in infrared spectroscopy, and how they can be applied in infrared spectroscopy. So first of all, we will discuss handling of samples in infrared spectroscopy. Sampling techniques in infrared depends on whether the sample is gas, then we will use gas cell. If it is liquid, then we will use thin film. If it is solid, then we will use potassium bromide discs, some moles, or some deposited films. First of all, gases. So gas cells is like that as I shown in the figure. It has both mirrors on both sides. Infrared transparent windows allow the cell to be mounted directly. Internal mirrors are used which permit the beam to be reflected several times through the sample to increase the sensitivity. In vapor phase, rotational changes in molecule occur freely, and these low frequency processes can modulate the higher energy vibrational bands. Liquids. It consists of sampling liquid as a thin film squeezed between two infrared transparent windows like NaCl flats. The figure is shown in the figure shown at my right side. Thin film squeezed between two infrared transparent windows like NaCl flats. The salt plates or rock salt flats must be optically polished and cleaned immediately after use. Toluene, chloroform are used to clean them. They should be dry and handled only by their edges. The thickness of the film can be adjusted by varying pressure used to squeeze the flats together. It consists of two windows of pressed salt, sealed and separated by thin gaskets of Teflon, copper, or lead that have been wetted with mercury. The windows are usually made of sodium chloride, potassium chloride, or cesium bromide. There are two types. There are two cells. First cell containing sample and the second one containing pure solvent placed in reference beam. By the reference beam, solvent absorptions are cancelled out and spectrum recorded is that of solute alone. Solids. The first one is potassium bromide discs. It is prepared by grinding the sample with KBr and compressing the whole into a transparent water or disc. Potassium bromide must be dry and hence grinding is carried out under infrared lamp to avoid condensation of atmospheric moisture which gives rise to broad absorptions. Grinding is done in agate, mortar, pestle, or commercial ball mills. Poorly ground mixtures lead to discs that scatter light than they transmit. Particle size of 2 micrometer must be achieved to avoid scattering. Hydraulic press is used for the compression of a cohesive disc require high pressure. Special die are used from which air can be evacuated by hydraulic compression. Discs thus formed are easy to handle. Second one is moulds. Paste is prepared by grinding the sample with a drop of oil. The mull is squeezed between transparent windows as for liquid samples. Mulling agents should ideally be infrared transparent, but this is never true. Liquid paraffin nodule is used to prevent nodule mulls, which is transparent over a wide range of infrared spectrum. Solid films. Solid films can be deposited onto the sodium chloride plates by allowing a solution in a volatile solvent to evaporate drop by drop on the surface of the flat. Polymers and various waxy or fatty materials often give excellent spectra in this way. Detectors. Two main types in common infrared instruments. Thermal detectors consist of thermocouple which have two pieces of dissimilar metals fused together at the end. When heated metal heats at different rates, potential difference is created between two metals that varies with their difference in temperature, usually made with blackened surface to improve heat absorption, placed in evacuated tube with window transparent to IR, not glass or quartz. IR hits and heat one of the two wires. Can use several thermocouples to increase sensitivity. Bolometer. Strips of metal, potassium, nickel or semiconductor that has a large change in resistance to current with temperature. As light is absorbed by blackened surface, resistance increases and current decreases. Bolometer is very sensitive. Now the second one is photoconducting detectors. Thin films of semiconductors on a non-conducting glass surface and sealed in a vacuum. Absorption of light by semiconductor moves from non-conducting to conducting state. Decrease in resistance, increase in current. It ranges from 10,000 to 333 cm inverse at room temperature. Pyroelectric detectors. Pyroelectric ceramic lithium tantalate material get polarized. Separation of positive and negative charges in presence of electric field. Temperature dependent polarization. Measure degree of polarization related to temperature of crystal. Fast response, and it is good for Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy, which is also known as FTR. Pyroelectric detectors are also shown here in the figure. Other components include sample cell, must be made of infrared transparent material. Monochromator reflecting grating is common. Cannot use glass prism since absorbs infrared spectroscopy. Overall instrumentation design of IR spectrum is shown here. Need chopper to discriminate source light from background infrared radiation. Monochromators after sample cells. Note done in UV visible since letting in all to sample may cause photo degradation, too much energy, IR lower energy. Advantage that allows monochromator to be used to screen out more background IR light. The problems include source weak, need long scans, detector response slow, rounded peaks. Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy alternating to normal infrared based on Michelson interferometer. Principle. Light from source is split by central mirror into two beams of equal intensity. Beam go to two other mirrors reflected by central mirror, recombine and pass through sample to detector. Two side mirrors, one fixed and other is movable. Move second mirror light into two paths travel different distance before recombined. Constructive and destructive interference obtained. As mirror is moved, get a change in signal. Remember that destructive interference can be created when two waves from the same source travel different paths to get a point. This may cause a difference in the phase between the two waves. If the paths differ by an integer multiple of a wavelength, the wave will also be in phase. If the waves differ by an odd multiple of half a wave, then the wave will be 180 out of the phase and cancel out. The path difference can be represented by these formulas, and it will show the phase difference here between two waves. Observe a plot of intensity ways distance. Convert to plot of intensity ways frequency by doing a Fourier transform. Resolution can be obtained by delta V is equal to 1 over delta delta interval of distance traveled by mirror. As we discussed in the class also that how this Fourier transform produced, so it will produce in this readable form. A monochromatic source is shown here in figure A, while a broadband source is shown here in figure B. What are the advantages of IR's FTIR compared to normal IR? FTIR is much faster, seconds waves minutes, use signal averaging to increase signal to noise, higher inherent, no slits, less optical equipment, high resolution. What are the disadvantages of FTIR as compared to normal IR? In single beam, it requires collecting blank, cannot use thermal detectors, it is too slow then. The in processes, it recognizes a pattern, associate patterns with physical parameters, identify possible meanings, purpose, explanation. Once a spectrum is obtained, the main challenge is to extract the information it contains in abstract or hidden information. This requires the recognition of certain patterns, the association of these patterns with physical parameters, the interpretation of these patterns in terms of meaningful and logical explanation. When a chemical sample is exposed to the action of infrared light, it can absorb some frequencies and transmit the rest. Some of the light also be reflected back to the source, like IR source to the chemical sample and then transmitted light to the detector. From all the frequencies it receives, the chemical sample can absorb, retain specific frequencies, and allow the rest to pass through it transmitted light. The detector detects the transmitted frequencies and by doing so also reveal that the values of the observed frequencies. The IR spectrum is basically a plot of transmitted or absorbed frequencies with intensity of the transmission or absorption. Frequencies appear in the x-axis in units of inverse centimeters wave numbers, and the intensities are plotted on the y-axis in percentage unit. As frequencies, wave numbers can be shown here like this, and the absorption on the y-axis. A graph above shows a spectrum in absorption mode. The graph above shows a spectrum in transmission mode. This is the most commonly used representation and the one found in chemistry and spectroscopy book. Therefore, we will use this representation, which is also known as transmission mode. IR band can be classified as strong, medium, or weak depending on their relative intensities in the infrared spectrum. A strong band covers most of the y-axis, a medium band falls to about half of y-axis, and a weak band falls to about one third or less of the y-axis. Not all covalent bonds display bands in the IR spectrum. Only polar bonds do so. These are referred to as IR active. The intensity of the bands depend on the magnitude of the dipole moment associated with the bond in question. Strongly polar bonds such as carbonyl groups produce strong bands. Medium polarity bonds and asymmetric bonds produce medium bands. Weakly polar bond and symmetric bonds produce weak or non-absorbed bands. Infrared band shapes come in various forms. Two of the most common are narrow and broad. Narrow bands are thin and pointed like a dagger. Broad bands are wide and smoother. A typical example of broadband is that displayed by OH bonds, S as those found in alcohols, and carboxylic acid as shown below. IR is most useful in providing information about the presence or absence of specific functional groups. IR can provide a molecular fingerprint that can be used when comparing samples. If two pure samples display the same IR spectrum, it can be argued that they are the same compounds. IR does not provide detailed information or proof of molecular formula or structure. It provides information on molecular fragments, specifically functional groups. Therefore, it is very limited in scope and must be used in conjunction with other techniques to provide a more complete picture of the molecular structure. The typical IR absorption range for covalent bond is 600 to 4000 cm inverse. The graph shows the region of the spectrum where the following type of bonds normal absorption. For example, a sharp band around 200 to 2400 cm inverse would indicate the possible presence of C bond with N or CC triple bond. This is the fingerprint region from 400 to 1500. This 1600 to 1840 it shows the double bond presence. Then in blue region it will show the triple bond presence, and in the absorption region last part it will show the bond with nitrogen, oxygen and carbon. Although the entire IR spectrum can be used as a fingerprint for the purpose comparing molecule, the 600 to 1400 cm inverse range is called the fingerprint region. This is normally a complex area showing many bands, frequently overlapping other. This complexity limits its use to that of a fingerprint and should be ignored beginners when analyzing the spectrum. As a student, you should focus your analysis on rest of the spectrum, that is the region to the left of the 1400 cm inverse. Alkanes have no functional group. Their IR spectrum display only CC and bond vibration. Of these, the most useful are the CH bands, which appear around 3000 cm inverse, as shown here, the CH stretching. Since some most organic molecules have such bonds, most organic molecules will display those bonds in their spectrum. Besides the presence of CH bonds, alkenes also show sharp medium band corresponding to the C double bond C bond stretching at about 1600 to 1700 as shown here in this peak. Some alkenes might also show a band for the double bond CH bond stretch appearing around 3080 cm inverse as shown below here. However, this band could be obscured by a broader band appearing around 3000 cm inverse here, the broad band. This spectrum shows that the band appearing around 3080 cm inverse can be obeyed by the broader bands appearing around 3000 cm inverse. The most prominent band in alkynes corresponds to the carbon-carbon triple bond. It shows as a sharp, weak band at about 2100 cm inverse. The reason it's weak is because the triple bond is not very polar. In some cases, such as in highly symmetrical alkynes, it may not show at all the low polarity of the triple bond associated with those alkynes. Terminal alkynes, that is to say those where the triple bond is at the end and of a carbon chain, have CH bonds involving the sp carbon. Therefore, they may also show a sharp band at about 3300 cm inverse. corresponding to the CH stretch. Internal alkynes, that is those whether the triple bond is in the middle of the carbon chain, do not have CH bonds to the sp carbon and therefore the aforementioned band. The following slides show a comparison between an unsymmetrical and symmetrical. Here we can see different type of C triple bond C stretching here, triple bond CS stretching, triple bond CS stretching here also with no carbon attached, no carbon triple bond carbon stretching visible. Alkanes show a combinational band here. In a manner very similar to alkyne, nitrile show a prominent band around centimeter inverse caused by the CN triple bond. This band has a sharp pointed shape J like the alkyne CC triple bond, but because the CN triple bond is more polar, band is stronger than in alkynes. Here it is shown here the sharp band CN triple bond. The most prominent band in alcohol is due to the OH bond, and it appears strong broad band covering the range of about 300 to 3700 centimeter inverse. As shown here, the OH stress is broad band appearing strong and covering a big region. Carbonyl compounds are those that contain the C double bond O functional group. In aldehydes, this group is at the end of a carbon chain, whereas in ketone, it's the middle of the chain. As a result, the carbon in the carbonyl bond of aldehyde also bounded to another carbon and a hydrogen, whereas the same carbon in ketone is bonded to two other carbons. Aldehydes and ketones show a strong, prominent stake-shaped band around 1710 to 1720 centimeter inverse, right in the middle of the spectrum. This band is due to the highly polar C double bond O bond. Because of its position, shape, and size, it is hard to miss. Because aldehyde also contain a CH bond to the sp2 carbon of the C double bond O, they also show a pair of medium strength bands positioned about 2700 centimeter inverse. These bands are missing in the spectrum of a ketone because the sp2 carbon of the ketone lacks the CH bond. The following slides show a spectrum of an aldehyde and a ketone. Study the similarities and the difference so that you can distinguish between the two. Here I mentioned these two slides in butyl aldehyde and 2-heptanone. Here we can see different differences, the stretching of CH here and the stretching of CH here. CH double bond due to the carbonyl group stretch, CH stretching, carbonyl group stretching here and here. These two peaks are almost same, while here due to the presence of CH group and carbonyl group also with the hydrogen, this band is more wider, while this also show a band of CH stretch with the saturation, but this as compared in comparison with the above one is not much broader, but the peaks in both are sharp. A carboxylic acid functional group combines the feature of alcohol and ketone because it has both the OH bond and the C double bond O band. Therefore, carboxylic show a very strong and broad band covering a wide range between 2800 centimeter inverse to 3500 centimeter inverse for the OH stretch. At the same time, they also show the stake SH band in the middle of the spectrum around 1710 centimeter inverse corresponding to C double bond O stretch. It shows also into the figure. The most characteristic band in amines is due to the NH bond strength, and it appears weak to medium, somewhat broad band but not as broad as the OH bond of alcohol. Primary amines have two NH bonds, therefore they typically show two spikes. That main band resembles a molar tooth as shown here. Secondary amines have only one NH bond, which makes them show only one spike, resembling a canine tooth. Finally, tertiary amine have no bonds and therefore this band is absent from the IR spectrum altogether. The spectrum below show a secondary amine. Here this is the NS stretch with a spike, then CH stretch with the saturation. The amide functional group combines the feature of amines and ketones to be both the NH bond and C double bond O bond. Therefore, amides show a very strong, somewhat broad band at the left end of the spectrum in the range 3100 and 3500 for the NH stretch. At the same time, they also show the stake shaped band in the middle of the spectrum around 17-10 cm inverse for the carbon stretch. As with amines, primary amides show two spikes, whereas secondary amides show only one spike. CH stretch and NS stretch can be seen from here, while the C double bond O stretch are at the same place as we seen in the previous slides. This is the end of IR part 3. Thank you so much. In IR part 4 we will look some more examples of infrared spectroscopy in detail.